So we can start. Wait, so I have to make you co-host. Hang on. Otherwise, you won't be able to share anything. Yeah, you should be co-host now.
Okay.
So,
and let me also share this. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, hang on. It's still 2 minutes. I guess we can start. People can catch up. Okay, fine. So, welcome Srikant to the Physics of Pranayama channel, the place for left brain, right thinking people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you remember last time when we interacted, I was outside, it was a nice day, etc. Today I don't dare outside because it's like freezing cold. So I'm, I'm inside the house.
Exactly. I was wondering, I was thinking, okay, what is the background that you're going to be having? Because last time, it was a fantastic, beautiful greenery behind you.
Yeah,
and,
that was from the back deck of our house, but today I don't dare do it because I would need all kinds of heaters and I would be all in jacket. So it's freezing. So anyway, so I think I should introduce you a little bit, even though we know each other right from school days. But I must tell people that right from the beginning, I mean, Srikant is an ace cricketer. Let's start from there. Okay, in the school days, he was the captain of the school cricket team, and the insight he had on cricket was amazing. I still remember once, Srikant, that you told me that the best time to get the batsman out is within the first couple of balls where they don't know the pace of the pitch or anything. So you better bowl within the wickets for the first two balls because if they miss, you hit. And that insight, I remember you used it on me because I was opening batsman and you bowled me the first ball a Yorker and I was ready for it because I knew what you were going to do. So and then after like by training, you did your computer science and you worked in IT for many years. And then as a passion, you moved to photography, right? So how was that journey for you to move from IT to photography?
I wouldn't say it was very difficult, for the simple reason that my family was supporting me throughout. And, but then, see, everyone has this thing, that they want to do something that they love. And they want to shift to an area, a passion, that they want, be it farming or something like that, right? But the problem is, they don't get the courage to do it. And probably they probably do not have the backing, the right backing.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, it was all there for me. And I just said, in 2016 that, yes, I need to, take the first step.
Yeah.
I didn't know that time, whether it was the right step or the wrong step, but I just said, okay, let me take that step. At least, if I don't succeed or, I'll be happy that, I took the step and then, yes, it didn't work out. Rather than, repenting later, oh, I should have taken that step.
Yeah. It's like in that Three Idiots. So Gadi darwaze pe thi. If I had got into the car, is that story. But
yes.
you actually made the change. And last time you showed us some amazing photos. So what do you have in store for us today?
Okay, so again, as because when I asked you, okay, what are we going to be discussing? Because we had discussed the first time a few things. You said, let it be a random discussion. Yeah. So probably, I'm going to be showing mostly related to wildlife, some photographs related to wildlife.
Yeah.
And the idea being, how to make photographs look different. And the second thing, which is very, very important, is what goes in a photographer's mind when he takes a photograph.
Yeah, right.
Because there are two schools of thought as far as photographers are concerned. One school of thought says, look, you put the photograph, right, and let people decide, what is it that they want, what do they infer from this photograph.
Right.
That's one school of thought, right? Whereas I belong to a different school of thought. I believe in actually explaining whenever I put a photograph, as to what went behind, this photograph.
Yeah.
This primarily, so that people know that, it is not clicking photograph, you make a photograph, on
You
the
have to
field.
actually frame. Yeah, the framing is, and the whatever the setting, etc. Yeah.
Correct. So
Like I remember you straightened me out sometimes where I used to post a photo in our WhatsApp group and you'd say, if these lines were leading, etc. And now I understand the concept of leading lines. It's amazing. Yeah.
So, and so these are things that even I learned, on the job. Of course, I did study a photography course, and but nothing like the on the job kind of a training, and learning it by making mistakes, and then watching others. That's very important. Trying to get some knowledge from others also. Yeah.
Cool. So let's see what you have in store for us today, and maybe we can have. So we'll have a free discussion. So maybe I'll ask you some questions on the photograph, etc.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. How I need to share screen, right?
Yeah. So if you share your screen, and then if it's a PowerPoint, then go to presentation mode. So then this way people can see.
So I say share screen, and
so if it's a PowerPoint, then you start the PowerPoint on your side, and when you share screen, just share that PowerPoint screen. So this way it will come as full screen. There you go. Oh, nice. Oh, I love the title, synthesizing the photo. Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
So it has got to do with light. We all know, right? And similarly, photosynthesis has also got to do with light.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought I should have this title, and if this is a photographer's viewpoint. One thing that I've always felt that the captions and the explanation have to be correct, and the right and apt, so that people are able to connect to a photographer's mind.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah. So I thought I'll start with the king.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
So this one is, Gir Forest, a trip I made to Gir Forest. That's always been one of my dreams, or rather, I always wanted to go to Gir, and I couldn't. So it's only last year, probably just 2 months back, I made a trip to Gir. And it's funny, I've been in Gujarat for 10 years and I've never been to Gir. It's now, only after I shifted to Chennai that, I thought about Gir.
Yeah.
So if you see here, there are two things, very, very important things, that has happened. One is the habitat. You actually show what is the habitat of the land. And so that's why, this you see in a landscape mode, and you also see some of the background, which is blurred. And the second thing is the action. I love action shots. And if you see the front leg, slightly above the ground.
Yeah.
So that signifies an action, that it's a motion. So you are actually depicting emotion in a still shot.
Right? I see. Yeah.
So that is something that I always wanted, and I could have taken a straightforward front leg on the ground, and but then I thought probably this is one of the shots that I would prefer.
Yeah.
But we photographers usually take photos in a burst mode.
Right.
So when we have it in a burst mode, so one of these, the actions will be slightly, the leg will be above the ground.
Okay, right. So how many photos did you have to scan through to pick this frame?
Oh, around 3 or 4. That's all.
3. Okay, that's not bad.
So because when you're watching, when you're observant, okay, now
when it's right.
and then just take it.
Yeah.
So I was probably at a distance of around, I would say 25 to 30 meters from this line.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And did you have the tripod, etc., to stabilize? Because
No,
30
no,
meters
no,
is
no.
long.
No, it's all photographs here are handheld.
Handheld. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so I took this with a 500 lens
Huh.
and with a Canon, mirrorless camera.
Mhm.
And so a tripod is, just not possible in, wildlife safari, because
Yeah.
you are on a safari vehicle, and it's not possible to fix in a, because there are
Mhm.
other people also, on that vehicle.
Yeah, and the other guys have their iPhone, and you have this massive Canon type device.
So the good, the good thing is, this was part of a tour for photographers,
Okay,
and so all the people, in the vehicle were photographers with big lenses.
big lenses.
And,
Yeah.
I always prefer a trip with photographers, because that way, the guides or the naturalists, who take you to the trip, they know that, okay, these guys are serious guys,
Hmm.
and they are not here just to while away their time. They are looking for good photographers.
Yeah, yeah.
So they take you to places, they are going to be common places, but then, the good part is all the photographers have patience. They are fine in waiting at a particular place.
Yeah.
Whereas a tourist would want to go to, different places, and okay, no, nothing's here, nothing's happening, let's go to a different place.
Yeah.
But then, so that's the advantage of being with photographers.
Mhm. Okay. Cool.
So
Oh, wow.
this is a head-on shot.
Yeah.
And again, if you see, there's this motion thing,
Motion. Yeah, yeah.
that see, the best part is the eyes, they're very, very deep, and
Yeah.
straight looking into the camera.
So, okay, I have to ask you this. So, when you're clicking this kind of shot, where when you're like, at least in your frame, the lion is staring right in you. Are you breathing, or are you not breathing at this point?
No, I am breathing, but then, it's uh, the breath is a very slow, long, drawn out breath. Because we don't have a tripod, right?
Yeah.
So the hand has to be steady.
Yeah.
With every breath, there is a possibility, because you are using a huge lens. It's a 500 lens, so there is always a shake that can happen.
Mhm.
But the breathing part is going to be slow breathing, long, drawn out. The
Mhm.
second thing, which is a tip, which a lot of people, I've given it to a lot of people,
Mhm.
is to have the two hands, this part and
Yeah.
this part,
Yeah.
close to the stomach,
Oh, I
right?
see. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
So you take the support of your stomach, of the sides of your, body,
Of the
and
body.
that way, there's an additional support,
Yeah, yeah,
and there's no shake of the hand.
Yeah. Okay, I
Of
see.
course, there's, nowadays, cameras also have image stabilization. I mean, lenses have image stabilization, and you're using, fast cameras, quick
Yeah.
cameras, can take these. So all these things help.
Yeah.
But then, the point that you said, whether you breathe, when you take the shots, that is a very pertinent question when you are going for macro shots.
Okay,
Macro
right.
shots are those shots, where you have a macro lens,
Mhm.
and you are taking photographs of small insects or flowers, or
Right.
those, when you go very, very close to them, you want to focus
Mhm.
on the eye. Now
Yeah.
that's where I stop breathing,
Yeah.
right? When I'm just going to click, that's when, I stop breathing, for whatever length of time.
Mhm.
Because it's very important that the insect, or whatever the the organism, that is actually there, it doesn't fly off, or
Yeah, yeah. Right.
so that's why you are very close to it, you are stopping breathing,
Mhm.
and that's when you click.
Yeah.
When you stop breathing, there's because a macro lens is very, very sensitive to even the slightest shake.
Right.
So a small breath that you take, your body obviously, slightly goes up, and comes down. So
Yeah.
you stop breathing then.
Right. 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 Yeah. Okay. Great.
So this is one of those shots. It's not the same line. It's a different line. Than the one that you saw in the previous slide.
Mhm. Okay.
So this guy, he was, I saw him. I was, as I told you, we were actually in the safari vehicle and waiting for a very long time. I just wanted a moment which was actually different. He was seated there and I knew he's not going to move.
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted a shot which was actually different. I saw him doing this. And that's when, I said, okay, fine. Next time he does it, I'm going to be ready.
Okay, right.
And so when you are, that, there are flies all around.
Oh,
around
yeah.
him,
I see. I
right?
see.
And he is going to be moving his head anytime. So,
Oh, yeah.
so when so the toughest part in these on these occasions is that when that there's something to happen, but you do not know when it is going to
When it's
happen.
going to happen. Yeah, right.
So that's when your entire attention or your entire view is through the viewfinder.
Correct.
Right? You are not removing the camera or anything. You're only watching everything through the viewfinder. That means you are actually lifting that weight, the lens and the camera, and then holding it, and till the time that this motion happens. And
okay, so when you're so at that point, your entire world is your viewfinder, right? So what happens to your hearing? Do you actually tune out this? Does the sound get tuned out of your ears, or how does it work? Because normally in life there is a feedback. Whatever you see, there is an associated sound with it. But now you're so laser focused on your viewfinder. What is happening to your hearing?
No. So as far as this particular shot is concerned, I know that there is no sound that is going to come, right? Yeah. But the fact that you are in a jungle, right? There are going to be other sounds which you have to be very attentive to, yes. Very observant. And, that is when, for example, if you're traveling in a vehicle and suddenly you hear the roar of a lion, you immediately stop. Right. And that's when, you say, okay, let's stop and then see where the roar is coming, where the sound is coming from. Or you have a bark of a deer
of something.
So an alert sound, so you suddenly stop and then see, okay, where is this alert sound coming from? Okay. But while taking this shot, the entire attention as far as this particular frame is concerned is entirely on this frame, and there's nothing. But then there's one more thing. There is a peripheral vision, right? There is a peripheral vision which actually helps me in trying to see if there's anything else that is actually happening on the sides. Even though this is a single shot of a male lion, there was a female lion in the peripheral vision.
Okay.
And I was just trying to see if there is an action shot that I can capture with the female lion.
Okay,
right.
So wait a minute, are you viewing through one eye and the other eye is closed, or is it open?
No, it's open.
Oh,
it's open. So sometimes it is closed, sometimes it's open. I don't remember whether I had the eye closed. Yeah. But that what's more important is the peripheral part. Where you actually see, okay, if there is an action that is actually happening there.
Yeah. Right.
And I'll show you what action was happening there when I shifted my lens.
Okay.
This was the one.
Oh, I see. Okay. Right.
So this is a very, I found it very cute.
Yeah. I mean, this could be a kitten if you don't tell me it's a lioness.
It's a lioness.
Yeah,
it's a lioness. And a very, very, it's not typical of a lioness. You would expect the roar and, a danger and all those things. But then, I found this very, cute. And if you look closer, you will see some white spots, around it. Around the face, there are some white spots which are just flying away.
Yes, right.
So there are either insects or there's some dirt which is actually flying, and it's actually moving its head. And this is one of the positions of the head that I had actually captured.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, I see. Nice. Yeah.
So this is another one. Now these are not together, the male and the female. It's a very funny thing, when I shot it, I after shooting this, after taking this shot, I looked at it because I knew, they are not going to move, and then so I was just looking at the picture, in the camera. And immediately this particular thing, that this particular caption, came to me. See, it's a female and a male, and the female makes a face when
Yeah.
the male is not looking,
Mhm.
right? And very, very typical of how the humans do it.
Oh,
You
rolling
had
the
a
eyes.
fight,
Yeah,
you had
rolling
a
eyes.
fight, and then you make a face when the guy is not looking.
Nice.
So
Nice.
this is, but then again, this is not a, she's not making faces. It's just that
Mhm.
she's again trying to,
The flies.
um,
Yeah, something.
the flies which are actually disturbing.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Right.
this was just after their mating session,
Mm.
right? So the lions mate, for a few days, and it's during this time that they are very, very um, aggressive,
Mm.
to any intrusion.
Okay, right.
And so we always uh, be at a distance
Mm.
during this time.
Right. Oh, wow.
So this is a oriental dwarf kingfisher. um, I
Okay.
shot this in a place called Chiplun in Maharashtra.
Yeah, I know the place. I mean, I've never been there, but I've heard of the place. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
what's in the beak?
it's an insect.
Insect. Okay,
uh,
right.
uh, I don't know, but then probably I don't know the exact, because I was not able to figure this out. So
Mhm.
I was at a distance of around, I would say 20 to 22 meters from this particular kingfisher.
Okay.
And this kingfisher, okay, this shot is from a hide, right? So you have these hides for photographers, right? I mean, where they are actually
Oh,
camouflaged.
camouflage. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was in a camouflage hide,
Mhm.
and there was a slight drizzle also
Mm.
during this time.
Mm.
And so we had spotted a kingfisher and its nest. So one thing is, well, we don't go close to the nest. So that's what I said, around 20 to 22 meters from the place.
Mhm.
And so this kingfisher was on a regular flight,
Mm.
uh, to get some food
Mm.
uh, for its young ones.
Mhm.
We couldn't see the, I couldn't see the young ones there, and
Mhm.
the chicks which are actually there were hidden somewhere. But what it would do is, it actually flies at a very low height,
Yeah. Yeah.
with its catch, and then sits on this branch, then looks around, and
Mm.
then goes into its nest.
Ah,
So
yeah.
the nest is in a particular wall, or a particular
Mhm.
bush, that is there.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is when I had actually captured, when it was facing the other side, but then it just, for a very brief moment, it turned
It
towards
looks.
its right,
Uh-huh.
and that's when I caught this.
Nice. Nice. One thing about nature photography is that you can't make them do the pose again. If you miss it, you miss it. That's it. You can't say, "Arey,
Yes,
वापस
that's
कर
true.
थोड़ा." It doesn't work like that.
You miss it means you've gone. That's
You're
it.
done. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
And that's why, a lot of time is actually spent observing them. You
Yes.
know, once you want to observe their behavior, okay, now they probably, you can say, okay, now this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah. In fact,
Uh,
all these tips, we can use also when we are photographing, like not, I don't want to say photographing humans, but when we are taking normal pictures, if you're just aware of what's going to happen, you can get the right shot, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this particular shot, if you see, I don't, can you see those drops on its head?
Yeah, yeah, on the head. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it was drizzling, and I saw these drops, and I said, okay, let me see if I can capture that. And
Nice.
it has a garden lizard in its beak.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't believe, Sandeep, this particular kingfisher
Hmm.
is feeding its chicks the entire day.
Yeah.
Imagine how many trips it has to go, and how much the kids are actually, eating.
Yeah, and
Very,
because
very
it can only bring like one week full of thing at a time, right? There is no like
correct.
bag, there's no shopping bag. Ki chalo bhar dete hain, so.
Very, very difficult parenthood for this.
I know, right?
Kingfisher.
Yeah, yeah. It's awesome.
Okay, so slightly away from wildlife now.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Okay. So that's the moon? No, wait, it can't be.
No. Again, no photography trick on, no post-production,
There must
nothing.
be some reflection somewhere. I don't know, in a glass.
Yeah. So that's the actual sun on the right-hand side, right?
Yeah.
And what you see on the left-hand side is a reflection of that sun,
Yeah.
through the French window.
Window. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So or rather the French doors. So the two French doors are actually at an angle.
Yeah.
And it's just, by chance that, I saw this. I was just walking from my hall to the balcony, towards the balcony, when I just walked and I saw this. And I said, for a moment, I was, okay, what's this happening?
Yeah.
Then I saw, okay, then I adjusted the door in such a way, and then I ran before the sun goes down.
Before the, yeah, right.
Yeah, to get my camera.
Yeah.
And that's when I shot this.
Yeah.
So
that white spot is one of those internal reflection things from the sun, right? Is that the thing? The white.
So that white spot is from a building, where the light is on.
Oh, that's a light. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So somewhere, in one of the rooms, the light is on.
Some light is on. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
wait. So how did you avoid the, so when I take a photo of the sun, there is another like a how do you say? It's like a furtive dot that appears, because the lens is not perfect, and at least on my handheld camera phone.
Yeah.
Then there is a internal reflection that happens, and then there's a secondary dot but that's just an aberration of the lens. So how did you get rid of that here?
No, so there are lens. You're probably talking of lens flares that happen right?
Yeah.
So one thing is, see, the DSLRs handle it differently. That's one. The second thing is, you have a speed, which is actually quite fast, and that brings down the.
Correct.
See, I use the speed aspect here, and that brings down the flare, and that's how most of my sun photographs are actually taken.
Yeah.
I remember you asking this question even earlier, one of our chats or something like that.
Correct. I never solved it. So okay, I got it to fake it. So here's what I do nowadays. If I want to take a shot of the moon, right? I asked you also, I cannot get the details of the moon, and you told me, yeah, it's about the shutter speed and all this stuff. Yeah. But what I do is now I fake it. I lock the focus on, let's say, a bright part of light where it is near. Then I take it to the moon, and then artificially I drop the brightness so that all that excess photons go away, and now I can see the structure of the moon. So I fake it. I mean, that's my cheap way of doing the high speed thing.
No, that's perfectly fine as far as photography is concerned, right? I mean, see, you are using a smartphone, right? I mean,
yes.
So I think smartphone has those features, which you can very well use. I mean, I'm not a good, smartphone user, especially the camera aspect of the smartphone. I just cannot. I need a big camera to hold, otherwise it becomes difficult for me.
Well, we can put some stones on the smartphone, and then it becomes heavy, and now okay, this is a great shot, man. This is amazing. Okay. Oh, nice. This is excellent.
So this is a macro shot.
Yeah.
Right. Or a micro shot. If you are a Nikon user, you call it a micro shot, and if you're a Canon user, you call it a macro shot. So that's the face. That's my daughter, right? And she's positioned just behind this. Very close to the pipe, the metal pipe that you see. This was just after the rains.
Okay.
I'd gone to the terrace, and I knew, okay, this is one of those shots, which can happen that way.
Yeah.
And I positioned her that way, just behind the rod, and use the macro lens. And remember, I had said, no breathing during when I take this.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because it's difficult. The one is, the drop has to be the right, I would say, density, as well as, the length. and she has to be rightly positioned so that her face comes. Of course, the shape, the face will be slightly distorted.
Yeah.
But that's how I.
So when you position her, you are looking at the drop through a camera or through your normal eyes?
No, through the camera.
Always you position through the camera. Okay, I see.
Yes, yes. I know, what is the distance that she has to be there. Then I look into the camera, then adjust her distance.
Yeah, right.
So that I get her, face.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah. See, this is one of the things I cannot do with a smartphone. I just can't. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think nowadays the smartphones have this macro thing. I don't know how it works or how. Probably I haven't tried it.
Yeah, right.
So this one is again see, I'm actually bored of clicking only the sun. Right. Or watching only pictures of the sun. There has to be some other element.
Some other thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So this is these are migratory birds, which is there, which are there at the bottom, and at the top is the sun. Right. And the right exposure. Of course, you cannot make it further. Probably, you can still. I would have increased the speed of the shutter speed, right, to get this, because otherwise the sun is going to be totally washed out.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And
so when you're doing this shutter speed thing, is it only after the fact that you see the result, or can you see it? Because you cannot see it when you're actually framing the shot, right? Because the shutter speed is a dynamic thing.
Okay.
So when you're framing the shot, did you see the birds? I guess you must have.
So yeah. I mean, so what happens is, again, you learn this through trial and error only, right? You try with one shutter speed, and if you see that, okay, this is not working out, then probably you increase it or decrease it depending on what it is. But then you may not get the birds again, the same set of birds again. You get a different, fortunately, yes, these are migratory birds, and there are a lot around in that particular place.
Okay, right. But now that you got it once, you will know for the next time that, okay, the shutter speed has to be this, because you already know this, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's no, but then the other thing that you have to remember is, what is the brightness? What is the ambient light? That is also something that you have to gauge. But nowadays, cameras also, especially mirrorless cameras, also have this particular feature. There's a particular button which you press, and it shows you, on real time, how your photograph is going to be like.
Oh wow! Okay, I see.
So that's there now.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Okay. So a few things here. I was reminded of Shiva.
Yeah.
Right. And his third eye, the forehead of Shiva.
Yeah, correct.
His third eye, and of course, those vibhutis, on his forehead.
Right. Yeah.
So this is exactly, something that I had imagined. I was saying this, I said, oh no, I have to get this, right?
Yeah.
But there's another element here. If you see right at the top, there is a jet which is actually going.
Right.
So I wanted to capture that also.
Nice.
Yes. And at the top, and have this. That's why you see it at the bottommost part. It's not centered.
Yeah, correct. No, but okay. So most of the SLR cameras are by default landscape mode.
No, you just turn the camera this way. No,
I know. But so which means to get this, you have to flip the camera.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, right. Nice is excellent. It's really nice. Oh wow! Yeah.
So this is again a street photography, shot.
Yeah.
I was in a place called Mylapore in Chennai. Right. That's where the street performers were getting ready for their performance. I quietly went behind them, and I was just saying, if I can get a shot, which is again, different here.
Excellent. This is excellent.
Yeah. So
yeah. No, go ahead. What's the story?
Yeah, you don't see his face directly, but you see his face from a point which is in front of him.
Correct.
and the fact that his eyes and nose have a frame, which is the frame of a mirror.
Mirror, yeah.
It makes it look very different.
Completely, yeah. This reminds me of that movie Jaane Bhi Do Yaro. You remember where it takes a photo and then in the hand of the monkey he sees a reflection of the guy who's doing the murder.
Yeah.
Remember those things?
Yes. That was one fantastic movie. Yeah.
Amazing movie, man. Really. This is fantastic. So, after you take the shot, do you go and talk to them saying, hey, I took a photo or something? Or?
No, they are getting ready for their performance. So, it's best that, we don't disturb them.
Leave them alone.
And I was also not too close to them that time. Because if you see, there are others also there, everyone is getting ready with their makeup. And
right. Yeah.
So they are all going to be in a performance mode. It's best that, you don't disturb them.
You leave them. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Oh, yes. Nice.
So I have to tell you this about this particular shot. See, the shot in the front, which the lady in the front is my wife.
Okay, yeah.
And so this was planned. I asked her to quickly, climb on that particular rock, on that boulder, and give a dance pose. And I said, and the sun is behind you. I said, I'll take this shot. Let's make it a different kind of a shot.
Right.
Now, while this was happening, without her knowledge and even without my knowledge, or without my planning, I saw the other guy far off, in the behind her.
Yeah.
He was at a distance.
Yeah.
And he was in a yoga pose.
Yeah. Tree pose.
So so I was initially planning to take only her photograph, with the rock, and the sun. I quickly repositioned, my camera to include him also.
Yeah. Lovely.
So after taking this photograph, I showed it to her, and she didn't know, that this is going to come out this way. And she thought it's only her who's going to be in the frame. And when she saw this, she said, "Oh my God, who is this?" I said, "Yes, this guy was also there in the frame." And, I just changed the composition in the last moment to include him.
Yeah, because you could have totally avoided him, because if you go a little bit to the right, that guy comes behind the boulder, you don't see him, and then you get only her shot.
Yes.
But this is amazing. Yeah, this is great.
So
he's also doing the thing perfectly. It's like almost you have staged it, but it's totally not staged. It is completely.
Yes, it's not staged.
Yeah.
Only the one in the foreground is staged.
Correct. Yeah.
But the rest is all, whatever he's doing is he's doing it. He's actually facing the sun.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And this was just during sunset time in Hampi.
Okay. Right. I'm amazed. If you go back a little bit, I'm amazed at the sharpness of the lines, even though the sun is like directly in the lens. It's amazing.
Yes. So in this case, the aperture value is going to be very high here. That's one. And also the speed, the shutter speed is also high. That's why you actually see the silhouette and not the actual colors of the boulder, the dancer, and the So that is how I actually wanted here.
This is really nice. Yep. Okay. Oh, lovely. Yeah.
So this so this is another temple in Hampi, and the moon was there, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to include the moon in the frame, and I was just wondering how I should include it. So finally I thought probably if I place the moon right at the top of this dome, that will be probably I would have got a different shot altogether. And so I had to position in such a way that the moon was there, just touching the rod there. And so that's how I framed this. Incidentally, this particular place is also in Hampi,
Hmm.
and this is where Rama and Lakshmana
Hmm.
were, spent their monsoon months.
Oh, I see. Okay. During the Vanvas.
Correct, correct.
Okay, I see. Yeah, yeah.
In search of Sita. So,
Hmm.
uh, I mean, that aside, that's just the history part of it.
Yeah, yeah. What is amazing about this shot is, Srikant, if you had waited maybe 5, 7 more minutes, it would be a similar shot, but at a totally different angle because the moon had moved in that much time.
Correct, correct, correct.
It's amazing.
That if I wanted it, a similar shot, I would have to move and reposition myself in such a way that I get the same thing. That's going to be very difficult.
Completely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Oh, lovely. Oh, it's as if those kids are keeping an eye on you. It's amazing.
Exactly. So I had taken a few shots. I mean, a series of shots. But this is the one which I like the most, because here, while the mother is drinking, the kids are actually keeping an eye on me.
Yeah,
and
right. Like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult. One of the things that I learned here is, for the bear mother, it's very difficult life. She has to protect her kids. The bear cubs. She has to protect them from other predators. That predator could be another male bear too.
Oh, yeah.
The male bear, who wants to mate with her. What he would do is he will kill the cubs first.
Yeah.
And then, he would mate with her. So she has to protect the cubs, from every other predator that's found in the forest.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah.
So this is another, one of those sun shots. As I said, I always want to include other elements.
Yeah.
And this is a typical, a diya kind of a shot,
Yes, yes.
a lamp.
Yeah.
Where the sun acts as the flame, and the boulder acts as the lamp.
As the lamp. Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah. So it could also be it could also look like, a boulder balancing a ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. So even in this case, I had to move because what the sun. The sun had to be at the tip of the boulder.
Correct.
And I could have placed the sun in the center too.
Yeah.
Of the boulder, just touching the boulder, but I wanted it just at the tip of this boulder. So the thought process, I'm sure the photographers will understand here, that there's always a thought process that's involved when taking a photograph.
Yeah, right.
So now this is actually a photograph, a torch.
Yeah, right.
Which my daughter is holding, as if she is lighting the moon.
How did you get the torch ray like that? Because don't you need like a diffraction to happen? Otherwise, those.
So this one, if you see, is you have those powerful torch lights, right? I mean, that have a beam of light, straight. That's one.
Yeah.
And the second thing is the speed, the shutter speed is slightly low. I mean, so what happens is the shutter remains open for some time.
For some time, yeah.
Yeah, and you see actually a beam of light. In this case, going.
So is it outside or is it inside the house? Is she outside or inside?
This is on the terrace.
Terrace, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's in the open.
Correct.
Okay, I see. Because don't you need some dust particles or something? Otherwise, the light doesn't have anything to bounce off, so it doesn't make that beam, right? It needs to make the beam only. I mean, it'll make the beam only when it bounces off something. So there was some.
No, there was no dust particle here. But we have enough dust in India.
Chennai is anyway dusty, so okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
this is amazing shot, man. This is
and this is a full moon. Again, I could not get the moon in its actual. You see the moon is slightly washed out, right?
Because,
yes. of obvious reasons here.
Yeah. But I mean, you got the beam of light. I mean, that's perfect. Yeah.
Actually, I'm still not happy with this. Someday I plan to get a slightly different shot where the beam of light is even more prominent, and lighting the moon. And I want to do that someday.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess this is the last slide that I have.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. See, this is a hall, or rather, a mandap, as they say.
Yeah.
In those days, in the days of the king. And so this is again taken in Hampi. The reason I have it here is because of this light that you actually see here. Now, these are all reflected light, reflected sunlight.
Okay, right.
And one of the things, when when you see this, what I do often sometimes, when I have this kind of a frame is, I make my hand this way. If you're seeing my hand, and then see through this.
Right.
Yeah. So when I do that, I actually feel that I am in this particular location because I'm cutting off or whatever is there in my peripheral vision, and and that is what I loved in this particular composition, where it is actually taking you into the mandap.
Yes.
It is centrally aligned. You are actually straight in front of the stage there, and this was probably.
So how did you do it? Because on the SLR, do you have these grid lines that show up or no?
You do have, but I don't use them.
Yeah, so if I was doing it on iPhone, I would have cheated and uses the grid lines and get it perfectly centered. How do you do this without using grid lines?
I think I just experienced. I mean, I didn't.
So for example, because look at it, because the most common mistake that people make, and I've made it also several times, is that the horizontal line, if you're not perfectly parallel to it, it will come at an angle. You understand what I'm saying? Correct. It will not be like this. It will be theta like this.
Yes.
And that's the most important mistake people make. But I have fixed it on my side using a smartphone with a grid, with a leading line. So I make it perfect. I mean, I make it parallel. But how do you guys do it on an SLR? Because
it's you are able to see it through the viewfinder, right? I mean, if you see initially when I started photography, right? Especially if you see the sunset points and the horizon. When I took the first photographs, it was slightly slanted.
Yeah, right.
And that's when I realized, okay, no, I'm making this mistake. This is something that I need to correct. So then, the next time I took it, I saw to it that I'm holding my hand, straight. And
I guess you can align it to the edge of your viewfinder, because edge of your viewfinder is your reference now, right? Because everything is with reference to the edge of the viewfinder. You can do it like that.
Yes, but then I won't get the composition that I want. Right. If I align my horizon to the edge of the viewfinder.
No, not horizon. I'm saying you can align you can say that the horizon is parallel to the edge of your viewfinder. That's your guideline.
Yes, that's right. Secondly, in this particular case, I have enough time to adjust. Right. I mean, because it's not going.
Nothing is moving.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing is moving here. Right.
Yeah.
So if I take one shot and I see, okay, no, probably, the lighting is not okay, I would again adjust the aperture. And if I find that, it is slightly slanting, I can again, take another shot and then move on. So it's true experience that we have this.
In fact, if the hall was long enough, this would be my kind of shot. It will be an infinity shot, right?
Yeah, infinity shot.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, this is an example of like leading lines. You see the top ones are focusing down. The bottom ones are showing you. Everything is going to the square. It's so amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think, that's what.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, this is really nice.
Yes, that's what I have.
Yeah. Are you still sharing or? Okay, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So maybe if you're done, then we can stop sharing. Then we'll close it. But I'd like to share with you one story. So one of my friends at the office, he hunts, etc. So he has guns, and so he needs to calibrate the the viewfinder, etc. So he took me out to a shooting range, right? So since we're talking of shooting, I mean, it's a different kind of shooting, but it's the same thing. So when he gave me the gun for the first time, he says, take your best shot. And then I know just intuitively that I have to slow down my breathing. So I actually stopped breathing and then I fired. And then the thing hit a little bit off center, etc. Then he says, no, 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 don't stop breathing, just continue breathing. And that not stopping the breathing actually made the shot even better. But same thing must be happening with even using the camera to shoot, right? The breathing affects almost everything.
Yes, correct. As I said, the macro shot, I stop breathing when I take,
Yeah.
a macro shot, because that is something that is the lens is very sensitive to even the slightest movement there.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's amazing. I mean, there's so much to learn. And I think you said it right. The best way to learn is to make the mistake and then you
Correct,
learn. Then you
correct,
never
correct.
forget because yeah, I wish that lion would have looked at me, but you screwed it up. You were not ready. So that's it, you're done.
Yes. So a few things that I keep telling people is that one is, if you are really interested in photography, go and learn it first,
Yes.
right? If there is someone who's offering you the course, just go learn it, because nothing like having a face-to-face or a one-on-one kind of a discussion and
Yeah.
doing that. The
So
second thing is,
do you teach?
no, I don't teach.
You don't teach.
No, I don't teach. I mean, unless somebody asks me to take a special, session on something, I usually don't do that.
Okay, right.
That's the second thing is, go and experience it yourself, right? And start shooting. The third one is, look at other photographers' photos. I mean, how would they have actually done this?
Mhm.
That is something that you should one should actually go through.
Yeah, and there are a lot of these these photographers nowadays to promote their their studio classes, etc. They're showing you some tips and tricks, like in 30 seconds or 45 seconds. They show some tips and tricks. Those tips and tricks itself are enough for the amateur guy. That's more than enough. Their photography
Correct.
goes to a completely new level.
Correct.
It makes no difference for the professionals like you, but for us jokers who are just like aim and shoot type people. I mean, I showed you one shot, right, where I put the phone ulta and then I took a reflection in the water. Remember, I shared in the
Yes. Yes.
WhatsApp group.
Yes.
I learned
Yes.
that on the tips and tricks thing only. I would never
Okay.
have thought to make the phone ulta, but the complete perspective changes because the lens is now at the level of the water.
Yes.
Beautiful. It's amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. No, this is great, Srikant. This is really awesome. And do you have any upcoming exhibitions or something coming up? Because people might want to buy some of your shots because they are just stunning.
Okay. So I have a website, srikantclicks.com.
Okay.
And but I'm not going in for any exhibition as of now, because I want to go on the field. So next month I'm going on a bird photography tour
Right.
to Kerala.
Okay.
And so in case anybody is
Yeah, so
interested.
I'll put the link in the description of the video. I mean in the text. So if you send me a short bio, I'll include it with that. And
Sure.
then people can buy it on, if you have a website where they can take a look at the photo, and then if they like a certain frame, they send you the number or whatever, and then you ship it to them, something like that.
Yes, I can do that.
And do you
I've done
send
that.
do you send it electronically or do you print it out and send it to them? How do
No,
you
no,
do
no.
it?
I send them electronically because it is much easier for them. Otherwise, if they want it to be printed, and then I can do the packing and then also do that. That's
Yeah,
not a.
right. Yeah. No,
I
this is
have done
great.
that, for a few people.
Okay.
So yes,
Because
that's one thing.
personally, I'm going to show it to my wife for sure, but I think I'm going to get the vertical Shiva, that photo. That's
Oh,
amazing.
okay.
Big one. I want to get it like 6 feet by, I don't know, whatever the aspect ratio is.
Yeah. So the good thing is, these are all high resolution images,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I shoot everything in raw format.
Right.
So the advantage being that that you can, if at all there's anything, slight change in brightness and contrast, those things can actually be done in post production.
Mm-hmm.
So post production is minimal. One thing, Sandeep, that I actually wanted to say here was,
Yeah.
since you are also an art of living teacher, and you teach all these things,
Yeah.
The breathing and meditation has helped me so much
Yes.
in my photography.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
patience, being aware, being alert. It is something that has really, I don't miss even a single day, of,
Yeah.
the Sudarshan Kriya or
Yeah.
meditation.
Yeah. No,
Since 2001, it's been there.
for sure. And what I think it does also, the whole breathing meditation, is it the inner voice tells you that now the shot is coming. You just know it, है ना? You simply know it. And for me also, it's like this. When I'm in the whole crowd, I know that this is coming and I'm ready and it's perfect. I mean, it's not as perfect as you would have taken it, but for my level, it's perfect. So,
No, but what you're actually mentioning is so right, because I have seen that my anticipation skills have actually improved a lot. I'm able to anticipate, that okay, now this is going to happen,
yeah,
right? Just by observing,
just by
right?
observing, right?
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
that is a fantastic thing that I don't know if anyone who is actually watching this, I would say, get into meditation, get into these things, and then you'll find some really good, at least for photographers, you'll find amazing shots for, from your cameras.
From the camera, right here. Awesome. Well, Srikant, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you spending, I don't know, 45 minutes. It's
Hey, thanks a lot, Sandeep. Yeah, you're good connecting you. Of course, we are always connected.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
right. So good. Let's.
Yeah, so send me the URL and a little bit of description so I can add it to the video so people can
Sure.
follow.
And next time you are in India, let's meet and then go on a trip, on a
Yes,
wildlife trip.
yes, I have to come to Chennai. I've never been, so I will come to Chennai for sure.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Srikant.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to stop this thing.